and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried...
What the fuck? Bitte stirb, was? Oh, hä? Was war das denn bitte?
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So, was haben wir hier mit? Hä?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ach. Ach, hier können wir auch durch? Okay. Mal gucken, wo wir hier hinkommen. Wir fahren direkt in die Hölle. Und es wird schön warm sein wie in Miami. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Was? Aber ich wollte doch nur... Aber wir sind wieder hier. Warum fährt er nicht? Vielleicht müssen wir hoch. Nee. Ich will fahren. Bam, 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 bam. Die Frage ist, kommen wir irgendwo an? Nee. Ach! Dann halt nicht.
Here's the door, just go.
Ich glaube, der hat irgendwann keinen Bock mehr. Ich glaube, wir enervieren ihn. Ladebildschirm, 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 Ladebildschirm. Ach, jetzt dürfen wir uns wieder das Gleiche an. Immer das Gleiche. Oh, ich kann es nicht mehr hören. Ja, ja, wir wissen es. Große Monitore, wir wissen es.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Bam, 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 bam. Ja, Leute auf dem Bildschirm, aber scheinbar keine Person, sondern nur...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Aber die sind ja alle scheinbar nicht da. Es sind nur die Räume, die da abgebildet
This
sind.
mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Okay.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human.
Leise. Machen wir das jetzt in Endlosschleife, aber jedes Mal ist ja irgendwas anderes noch passiert. Ja, jetzt gehen wir wieder ins Licht.
Blackness and a rising chill of
und dann schauen wir mal, was dann passiert.
Was it over?
Oh, das wie oft...
Yes. He had won.
Wie oft haben wir das hier schon gemacht? Ich weiß es gar nicht mehr.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Ich versuch's.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Die Frage ist, ob wir jetzt wirklich in der Endlosschleife hängen oder ob da noch etwas passiert. Da bin ich mir halt echt unsicher.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hört ihr das auch? Hört doch seltsame Geräusche.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Was ist denn, wenn wir mal durch die Tür gehen und nicht dagegen?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Was ist denn, wenn wir...
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Die Frage ist halt wirklich, passiert noch etwas? Können wir noch etwas triggern? Können wir noch
Stanley had never
irgendwas...
seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Die Frage ist halt wirklich, kommt da noch was? Oder mache ich das jetzt den ganzen Tag noch?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
wissen
well.
wir.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ach komm.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Warte mal, jetzt
office.
kommen wir runter. Schau mal einer an.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.